friends, and welcome to day 10 of Inktober. Yay! Alright, so today I'm actually planning on being a little more free, a little more relaxed. I've brought in some less conventional tools. Hello, Enid Pinta. How are you today? Glad you could join me. Right, I was talking about unconventional tools. So, I've got my normal ones. Little brush, nib pen. I haven't shown off this one yet, but this is my more serious brush when I'm covering more space. I'll usually use that. And I'm bringing in a toothbrush today to get some texture and make it a little more exciting today. Tools or colors I'm working with probably are yellow, red, violet, green. I think this is green. Oh, there it is. Dark green. And sort of this sparkly waterfall green is what it's called. And I might throw other ones in there as I wish. I'm also using white acrylic paint because I don't have a good white ink, and so that'll be for any white areas I want. And finally, my rather delicate bottle of black ink. So this isn't the normal one that I use. This is the one I use to refill the little one, but I'm going to be filling most of my page with black today. So I decided to be a little more aggressive. Hello, Sarah. My verse today is from Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they display knowledge. And then it goes on from there. So you might be able to see I haven't started drawing yet. I'm going a little more off the cuff tonight, and we'll see what happens. So my idea is to go for a night sky sort of idea, hence the white acrylic paint that I need. I'm kind of fond of planets with rings, so I'm going to sketch one in here real quick. And might put a sun in that corner. What else do I need? Let's give this planet a couple larger moons. And then maybe we'll put something larger there with moon and a moon for the moon. Something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And so this is the sun. Ooh. So I'm going to start off with some yellow ink. Might need to help that dry. I kind of put a lot in there. And let's see. My planet with the ring around it, maybe I'll do with this sparkly green. It's important to shake up your inks, especially if you haven't used them in a little bit, because they tend to settle and separate. Okay. Like that. And the cross of Hubble. I didn't know Hubble had a cross. What are you talking about? Oh, it's in the Whirlpool Galaxy. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of going off the cuff and making it up as I go. But it'd be cool if it actually looked like someplace. I'm going to use this dark green for the rings. Here's my paper towel. Add a little texture, make my planet a little more interesting. There's that one. And I'm gonna grab some of the yellow, make those little guys sort of a yellow green, because I didn't rinse off my paintbrush. Oh, that is cool. I love space. I've always found it fascinating, and even as a kid when I had a bad day, go outside and look up at the stars and just imagine and make up my own little worlds and stuff. Now I do it with paint and ink. I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow. Make that a little more exciting. Bloing! If you can't tell, I'm being a lot more free today than I usually am. But I'm kind of, I don't know, having fun with this. Try and mix the yellow in without getting rid of it. Keep the cool little swirls. I don't think it actually shows up very well. Oh yeah, you can see it. So I actually put down plastic underneath my paper today, because I knew I was planning on using a lot of ink, and therefore there would be a greater chance of leakage onto my newsprint, which I wouldn't normally mind, except for the fact that I'm also using it for working on my book. There we go. I'm going to leave those two little white spots because I like them. And make that one that color. Maybe I'll rinse off my brush and go back into the dark green and do a dark green moon. Oops. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to try and add black without having my other inks bleed into it too much. Technically, I would normally want this to dry before I moved on, especially with the lighter colors like the yellow. But whereas I'm doing this live, I've just got to do it, right? So I'm going to get my massive thing of ink here. And I chose this instead of my normal one because it's got a nice little spout for me to pour it out. So, woo! Decided this would be a faster way of applying a whole lot of black ink than having you watch me just spread it on little at a time. Ah! Run away! Brushes, okay. And then I'm gonna go in with my big one and spread it around. Yay! I did put a lot of ink on here. Whoops. Gives it a cool depth to the darkness though. So that's kind of fun. You can see that I'm avoiding my planets and sun a little bit because I want them to keep drying. Drying, not drawing. I don't think my planets know how to draw. Oh, this is a kind of a fun way of doing this. And it will make my video a lot shorter. Don't technically recommend it because it's a lot of ink to use. But it definitely ups the fun factor. You can tell when I've spent some time with my nephew and niece, both younger than 2, because I'm more likely to want to make funny sound effects for everything I do. And despite taping my paper down, it's definitely gotten rather saturated, and so it's bowing up a little bit. But you do have to admit, this is a whole lot faster than like what I did yesterday when I filled my paper with black. If you weren't able to join me yesterday, you can still find that video, and I recommend watching it. And I'm going to use this moment to just add a quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would subscribe, give me the thumbs up, add any comments in the comment section, or if you're live, you can add questions and comments in the chat box. And if you haven't heard about my Patreon page yet, it's a really awesome opportunity for others to help support me to create this artwork that you see happening before you. It's not easy being an artist, and so it's an opportunity for me to give you something and you to help me be able to put the time that I need into art so that you get the amazing art that you've come to expect. So that's patreon.com, KRiggsArt, and my first 50 patrons are going to get a really awesome swag bag that no one else will get. So don't miss out. Okay. And I've got an awesome Instagram too, where you get to see not only art, but me and my awesome kitty cats. Okay. I have so much ink on this paper. Tiny little yellow dots. Maybe I should have made them bigger. Well, Sarah, I don't know if it's normal adult behavior or not. All I know is that my sound effects increase when I've been around my niece and nephew. Especially since neither of them are really talking. My nephew says a few words, but he's not mastered the method of communicating with words yet, and so he makes a lot of noises, and I tend to make noises back. So I don't know, you guys can vote. Is making sound effects normal human behavior or not? Let me know in the comments below, because I wouldn't know what normal is. I claimed the title weird in junior high, and I've been rather proud of it since. So I don't know what normal people do. It's funny because I claimed being weird, and then I didn't become an artist until much later. And all of a sudden, there's this, not stigma necessarily, but there's this sort of reputation that goes with artists, that artists are just weird in general. And suddenly I had an excuse for being weird. So that was kind of fun. Suddenly I could say things like, oh yeah, I'm an artist, and then people will just look at me and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. You're an artist. Artists are supposed to do weird things. Weep. Yeah, my subconscious knew. Well, see, in junior high, they mean things like weird as an insult, Oh, you're weird. And I refused to let them insult me with it. And so then I would annoy them by responding, oh, I'll take that as a compliment. And pretty soon people stopped calling me weird. It was great. Ah! Somebody took a bite out of my planet. am I going to do about that planet? I don't know. Maybe I'll go in with my smaller brush. And make it a little bit smaller. There. Death Star style. Yep. Although I fixed it now, so. Alright. Now the fun part's gonna come. Well, that was fun, but before I get to that, this brush, the reason I don't use it as much is because it is so inconvenient to wash because it holds a whole lot of ink in there. I could squeeze this and it would just drip in ink. And so I hate cleaning it. But it sure is faster. So I'm gonna rinse it out and I'll do a more detailed cleaning when I'm done here. And I've had a smudge of ink on my arm since yesterday, and I keep catching sight of it, and it looks a little bit like a bruise, and so I keep thinking I bruised myself. My mom said I should wash it, and I told her I'd get it when I shower. But I'm going to be a lot messier once this is done. So I'm breaking into the white acrylic, and since I have plastic on my table, I'm just going to put it straight on that plastic. And since my water is contaminated with ink, I'm going to use my squirt bottle to add water. And where did my toothbrush go? Toothbrush. I'm going to pick up some diluted white. Diluted, not diluted. I don't know, you'd have to ask it if it's diluted. Okay. And hopefully I don't make an absolute mess. I'm going to flick it. I love doing that. It's amazing how much life it gives. And I think I need some pinkish stars because I don't have enough spots all over my paper. So I'm going to add a tiny drip to my white. And we'll pick that up. So part of the problem about having so much ink on this paper is it's still very wet here and here. And so it's just making the black absorb my stars rather than having them sit on top. But that's okay, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna rinse off my toothbrush and do it again with yellow, I think. Get a few yellowish stars in. Now, I'd love your guys' feedback. I feel like I'm more interesting today. I'm not just drawing, it's being more exciting. Would you like to see more of this, or are you happy with what you've been seeing, or both? part of all of this is to entertain you guys, to teach you guys about art and ink and stuff. So I want to provide stuff that you guys want to see. So let me know. All right. Yellow, white. There. I like it. Now I do, apparently I went southern for a second there. I do want to touch up my red planet a little. So, rinse off my brush, clean off my finger that's all painted. Open up my red violet ink and pull out my smaller brush. I'm gonna just sort of touch it up a little bit because I got too many stars on the planet itself. Actually, it gave it kind of this cool mottledy look. Oh, you know what? I never turned on my second light. That might help. There, maybe you guys can see better. Sorry about that. Did that help? I hope so. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna actually pick up a little bit of that red violet without the white. Tell you what, guys, this was fun. Rinse my brush and I'm going to touch up my green planet a little bit. There, I added a little bit of depth to that side. That's the side away from the sun, and that gives it a more three-dimensional look. And I'm gonna do the same with the same color actually on my sparkly planet here. Now that the ink has dried a little bit, it's easier to go in on top of it. Was a little too wet before. Go. And I think I should do the same with my red violet planet. Problem is I don't have a good deep red. I don't think. Let's see. I could go in with black. Tell you what, that's what I'm going to do. Or purple. Maybe I'll do a drip of purple. So I'm going to take a tiny drip of this purple, and I'm going to mix it with more drips of the red violet. And I'm sorry that that's off screen. I'm going to mix that into a nice, really deep, ooh, that's a pretty color, really deep purple. And come in on this side of the planet. Round it out a bit. Try not to go over that yellow spot because I really like the yellow spot on it. I think that helps round it out a bit. It's amazing what a little bit of shadow can do to a picture. It really isn't showing up well, is it? Try turning away my light a little bit. Maybe that works better. I don't know. And this is what's called a form shadow on my planets. And form shadows are never harsh. They slowly fade up into the light areas. So I want to make sure and keep that the way it should be. Is this dry? It's still rather wet. I think I'm really glad I put the plastic down. Really kind of wanted some stars in those areas. Maybe I'll rinse off my toothbrush and try it again. See if it'll let me or if it's still too wet. If it's too wet, I guess I'll declare it finished. Yeah, it's still basically just absorbing it all. So it's funny to watch it just sort of disappear. Okay. I think that is it complete. Oh, I need to sign it. And I would normally use my nib pen, but I don't think I'm going to this time. Or even my gel pen. But it's still really wet, so I'm just gonna use the brush with the acrylic white. Don't like using the brush as much because I can't get as fine of a signature, and I like keeping it small. There. Ta-da! And we have successfully completed day 5, or 5? 10. Goodness. And now that I say that, I'm going to mess with it some more because it's never quite right. Wanted to put a little highlight on my red planet. Normally I don't like messing with a drawing or painting after I've signed it, but I've gotten less particular about that than I used to be. It's funny because there's a saying that an artist is never finished with a painting. They just have to decide when they're done. Oh, that's a lot better though. I like it. Okay. I have decided I am done. No, I don't think I started early. I think I even started like a minute late. Autumn, what time zone are you on? In Pacific? I think it was about an hour 15 minutes ago that I said hour and a half. But it's possible I posted it wrong. If so, I'm sorry about that. 8:30 Mountain Time every day. Ooh, I have silver. Should I try adding some silver stars? Maybe I'll try adding some silver stars. Just for the heck of it, because it's weird to be done after only 37 minutes. I've been making these run in a whole hour. But I'm gonna try a few silver ones and see how that turns out. Still have a little bit of red on my toothbrush, but I don't think I'm gonna worry about that. Maybe, nope, it's still very wet. Oh, look at that, it actually stands out better. So that's interesting. The white acrylic paint just soaked into the wet areas of the black ink, whereas the silver ink seems to be holding its own a little bit better. Okay, thanks, Autumn. I'll check that and make sure that I get the time right. Sorry. I'm going a little sparkle crazy, but it's just so much fun. Okay, I should stop. I am so glad everybody joined me. This was a fun one tonight, and maybe I'll try and go a little more lighthearted. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I definitely enjoyed tonight's live stream a lot. And I hope you guys did too. So, yeah, alrighty. I'm gonna sign off, and I'll see you guys at 8:30 Mountain tomorrow. And if I post it wrong, it's still gonna be 8:30 tomorrow, so... Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Autumn. I'm excited that you joined me, though. You said you wouldn't be back on until Friday, so I'm glad you made it early. All right, friends. I think there's some ice cream that's calling my name, so I'm gonna go find myself some ice cream, and I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.